Commander Ahmed Mahmoud, who was rejected last week as the President Electoral Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC from Zamfara State. These follow the motion moved by Senator Kabiru Afara, who says the methodology adopted by the committee, as contained in its report, made no reference to indigenship as a basis for consideration and clearing any nominee. He says the assertion by his colleagues from Zamfara North Senatorial District that the nominee is from Kebbi and not from Zamfara is false. He, however, urged the Senate to rescind its earlier decision and approve the confirmation of the nomination of Ahmed Bello Mahmoud to represent Zamfara State as Resident Electoral Commissioner.
Aware that Zamfara State, under the leadership of Governor Yari, has appointed several persons who were born in Zamfara State, but whose both parents are from states other than Zamfara State.
A voice vote in favor of the motion directed the matter to the Senate Committee on INEC, giving it a week to report back to the Senate for further legislative action.
Committee to be able to defend itself. I think in going forward, really, what we should be the prayer based on what you've said. I'm sure a lot of people have listened to you and have some points raised here for us to refer this back to the committee.
The Senate has passed that legislation, and we're looking forward to seeing updates from that in subsequent bulletins. And still at the Red Chamber, the Senate has passed legislation compelling gas processing companies operating in the Niger Delta to pay a total of 3% of their annual budget to the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. This is sequel to the consideration and passage of the Niger Delta Development Commission Act Amendment Bill.
To improve the revenue and funding sources of the Niger Delta Development Commission to meet its financial challenges, which are threatening to cripple the operations of the Commission and undermine its statutory mandate.
Senate President Bukola Saraki, in his remarks, expressed hopes that the amendment would pull in more funds into the NDDC.
In the past, a lot of the gas companies had not contributed to this. It is a very milestone achievement to finally getting gas companies who over the years are not committed to the Niger Delta development. We hope this will bring more funds into the development and continue to help development for our people in the Niger Delta. And we hope that the gas companies will comply.
The bill, which only passed second reading yesterday, was given accelerated passage on Wednesday following the consideration of the report of the Committee on NDDC presented by Senate Committee on NDDC. And meanwhile, Senator Ali Undume has now expressed concern over increasing incidents of child suicide bombing in Nigeria's northeast. The Borno State Senator says the growing body count in the northeastern states of Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe due to the activities of child suicide is disturbing and as such unacceptable.
At least 220 people were killed since June as a result of suicide bombing. Over 83 child suicide bombers were used in the year 2017 alone.
Senate President Ike Kwuremadu, however, reminded Senator Ndume that the Senate was already taking a holistic approach in addressing the security challenges in the country, and as such has set up a security committee to address the issue.
But Mr. President, when Senator Ali Ndume was away to Saudi Arabia, this matter came up in the Senate in respect of Zamfara State. I do recall that Senator Marafa insisted that some of the people causing the problem in Zamfara were coming from the northeast.
Ruling on the motion, Senate President Saraki says it's imperative that the concerns expressed be co-opted into the mandate of the Security Committee.
It was that you were to invite the service chiefs and everybody relevant. So I think this matter too should be one of the top priority issues to be discussed. But really,
recall that the Nigerian Senate last week set up a security committee to review the security architecture in the country and hold wide consultations with different security agencies to seek ways of addressing the disturbing level of insecurity in the country. The whistleblower who provided information leading to the recovery of huge sums of money in different currencies at an apartment in Osborn, Ikoyi, Lagos State, will receive his reward before the end of the year. Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, made the disclosure while briefing journalists at the end of the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting held at the Presidential Villa in Abuja on Wednesday. The minister denied insinuations going round in the media that the informant has been ignored by government, saying all informants would be paid in the November batch disbursement. Adeosun also announced the council's approval of 1.5 billion naira for advertorials to promote the Voluntary Assets Declaration Scheme, VIDs, as well as re-echoing government's determination to regularize the country's tax system with a view to netting a total of $1 billion planned to be sourced from the new tax regime into the consolidated revenue account.
So the whistleblower policy, as you know, the procedure is once we have obtained final forfeiture, there's what we call a period of waiting and seeing, just to make sure that there's no legal challenge to the forfeiture, and then we begin to process the payment. So Ikoyi whistleblower was part of November's batch, the sum of 1.501 billion to cover the national advertising campaign for 9 months. This is press, radio, online, television, below the line. It was awarded to Messrs. Centre Spread.
Minister of Water Resources Sulaiman Adamu also reviewed plans by the federal government to recover the Guarara Usman water pipeline project in the FCT with a sum of 1.712 billion naira being amount payable for the disengagement of the contractors and training of indigenous personnel who will man the project forthwith.
Also have a training contract with the contractor so that we can prepare to hand over to FCT and the ministry the project.
You're watching Galaxy TV News. We have more stories after this break. Don't go away.